we're plugging and also speaking to me about the spectacular event, Afri-Tech. The man himself, Ayo Johnson. Hello there.
Hi.
Bless you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're going to go into the papers, but I think I have to put you on the spot. Congratulations. I mean, but the whole idea and the concept of this wonderful event, it's a first for Africa. Tell our viewers very little bit about it before we go into the paper review.
Well, it's a first for Africa. It's the first digital marketing conference, the sort of size we're talking about, with attracting thousands of people, happening in Kenya because it's really a digital hub for technological advancement, and very much attracting some of the best speakers around the world, from Australia to Canada, United States, not to mention Europe itself. And I'll be there, and of course I'm the head of public relations for the organization Afri-Tech. So it's very much about engaging with people, educating, informing, and very much about empowering, and very much about bringing businesses together so they can actually advance in terms of synergies to be able to take Africa and its development and its businesses to the next level. So it's a huge opportunity for Africa as well.
Right. A little bit later, I want you to go into some details, because I mean, we have to applaud the visionary of the man behind it as well.
Yes. These
days, you see so much things happening in Europe and of course in America, and we tend to sometimes go asleep in Africa. Although we know there are lots of really technocrats building and doing loads of things, but I've never heard of a coming together of so many like-minded people to sort of generate and give out information. So for me, I'm very excited just even hearing about it, because we always hear of things happening in different parts of the world. So when we know that someone has had the confidence, it takes a special person, special team of people, I should say, who's able to galvanize themselves, to put personal and egos aside for the greater benefit. And I think if we don't get on that technology road, on that digital road now, it will be very sad for Africa. So I'm really definitely applauding the CEO. Tell us a little bit about the man and the vision and the whole thing, the concept.
Well, Bernard Senganza, he's from East Africa. He's studied in the United States. He's very much a man from Zimbabwe. He's got many businesses in the US, successful transportation business, and he's taken a lot of his wealth out of that to invest in Africa, and he's using the Afri-Tech conference as the springboard for that investment. He's chosen the word Afri-Tech because it's about connecting the dots, joining people together, informing, educating, and very much bringing synergies of businesses together for that operation of change to happen.
Come on, but listen here, that is huge for someone for achievement. I'm sure it's going to be done in stages, because with our people, we've grown so accustomed to certain trends and things of not really being, I mean, great respect to us. I love the stealing. People know I'm very much a very strong advocate of our African brothers and sisters there. But again, for us sometimes to really work together, some people feel it's not even possible. So it's huge. Is it because we're dealing with people, technocrats, we're dealing with people with that sort of a higher education and the need for it? We're going to be able to put our differences aside here to come together. Do you think that's part of it now?
Well, Bernard is a Christian, and he is a very committed Christian.
Right.
He follows his spiritual instinct, and he sees this as a divine request by the Almighty for him to do so. That's
so
his
it shall be.
That's so he's coming with a lot of confidence from that perspective.
Right, because I was wondering, where was he getting this energy
absolutely
from?
But he's also a very astute businessman, and he's also tried and tested, and he's been very successful at doing so, and he has now the courage and the ambition and the drive to put together a team, and I'm a member of that team, and I'm really privileged to be part of that team.
By the sound of things, yes.
But in saying that, the team is very vast. It comprises of individuals from Kenya, some individuals from Tanzania. So we've got a whole range of different Africans from a whole range of parts of Africa who have actually come together to be able to deliver this conference. And of course, when he started thinking about digital marketing, communicating, we realized that the technological advancements of Africa has not been as fast as we would otherwise have wished. we know that there's a gap between within the technological advancements. And if you think about how China is a dominant player in Africa, then you have to think about all the relevant stakeholders, Britain, America, Brazil, we've even got the Japanese there, and there's a lot of stakeholders, but it's very much about businesses synergizing and for communities to be able to benefit from that business. And you can only do so if you can attract some of the best minds in the and we've got over 100 speakers going to Kenya, and we've chosen Kenya, one, because it's a strategic location. Two, it's a hub for technological advancement, and it's very much a platform and an area from which we think we can grow. So Kenya has got that lucky break from the perspective that we've gone to them, and the government has embraced us in doing so. But when you attract the best minds from around the world, the best minds expect that, one, the location should be fine, two, the environment by which they can perform and engage with those that they're going to be engaging with has got to be at the top end. And we've got to be able to host them in some of the best environments that are possible. So you can imagine the complexities in doing so. So it's a huge achievement to have done this much. But we've got huge support from sponsors like Nokia, Google, Safaricom, and we're already partnering with Cisco's, NASA, the space industry, Coca-Cola. So we've got huge support and investment within the business. And it's very much about getting all those business entities who are galvanizing on Kenya at the moment, coming from across Africa, across the world, who think that they need to be in that conference, they need to have a stake in Africa. What an opportunity to have all these great minds speaking with them, and also the Kenyan people who are also being invited to attend these conferences and to be educated and inform them to be that much more aware. Huge opportunity for everyone concerned, and a huge success it will be.
We're touching at the moment on Kenya. I mean, for those of our viewers who are watching from this diaspora, I mean, and if you're not from Kenya, there is this energy like, where else are you going to go? You're starting in Kenya. Is there going to be a series of events that will be taking place throughout Africa?
Absolutely. This is the first of many conferences. We've already got conferences already. I mean, this conference is starting from the 15th to the 18th of June, which is next week, Wednesday up until Saturday. And we've already got conferences already booked in South Africa from the 24th to the 29th of October. And of course, we're going to Nigeria and other countries next year. So the plan is to do about 4 conferences a year.
Strategically planned.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
I want to touch a little bit on the social side of things, because I know, what I've also noticed, and I did a little bit of research, this is a man, Bernard, who's very aware, I can understand him from a Christian background, that he is very much thinking about young people on the whole, the social side of things. How are people going to really benefit on the ground? Because you have all these technocrats and minds coming together. Of course, they're business people. It will be a tripling effect. But initially, it will, if you like, for want of a better word, people not as privileged, will they be able to benefit at this stage? Or do we need to wait until everything's been synergized and then it trickles down?
Well, that's a very good question. That's why the Afri-Tech is broken down into several different areas. Firstly, you've got the Afri-Tech consultancy, which is another business which we've got in South Africa, which we're talking about consultancy and delivering synergy and business and advice and guidance and sort of roadmap to success for businesses to be able to engage with Africa. That's the first. Two, for those individuals who attend the conference, there's the awareness factor, there's the engagement with some of the best leaders around, there's a knowledge transfer, but in terms of physical jobs, I think that would come from the final day. The final day of the conference is being offered free for all Kenyans. They'll be able to attend the conference. The previous days, there'll be a charge for entrance, and of course tickets are going fast, if not gone already. But in saying that, there's also the charitable side of Afri-Tech. There's a foundation side, which money that's going to be poured in to be able to benefit these communities as we move forward. Because if you think about conferences in Kenya, South Africa, we're moving to Nigeria, there's Ghana, there are all these different countries to go to. So as we move along, we've got to be able to leave a legacy. And that's where the foundation comes into it. And what we do not want to happen is like you've got currently with some of the biggest billionaires in the world, Bill Gates and all the others, who are doing a good job at the moment. But if you think about when they started their business, if they had factored in the charity side of their business, it would have grown with the business rather than them getting this huge capital at the end and wondering how do we spend it. So we're making
package.
There we go.
Hear you. Touch a little bit now on some of the discussions and break down some of the agenda of what will be happening. And people here can, if someone's watching, can they still attend?
They certainly can. They would have to make their way to Kenya. That's a start. They would have to make their way. In fact, this happened at the KICC, which is the biggest facility, in fact, one of the most plush facilities in the whole of East Africa, if not the whole of Africa. And of course, they will be able to attend the conference and meet some of the best minds in the marketing and digital and business world. And there will be huge opportunities for them.
So break it down a little bit further now. What's happening on the day? Give me a little idea.
Well, there will be a lot of things happening. There will be keynote speeches. There will be debates. There will be seminars. There will be workshops. There will be booths with all these different other businesses. So it's going to be a whole range of different things all happening at the same time. So it's a huge environment. If you think about the closest you can think about in the UK here, somewhere like Excel, where when you go in and you see these masses extravaganza of activities all happening all at the same time. Well, for the average man, it could be a logistical nightmare. But we've got it fine-tuned to the T, I'd say, on this one.
Now, of course, there's be checks and balance. What is it ultimately, the team, you've all decided, what was one thing that you'd like to take away from this? Of course, information is going to be just unbelievable for people to hold on to. But the team, what is the one thing that you know that you're hoping to take from it, other than just giving? What is it you want to take?
Well, it's to show that you can do things irrespective of where you are in the world, and everything is achievable. And you only have to leave everything to your imagination. And very much you've got to be bold enough to engage with people, irrespective of how high you think they may be in the political ladder or the economical ladder or the social ladder. Everyone's approachable, and when you do engage, especially when you do have a good plan, people would naturally gravitate to that. And that's the key. You have to have a good plan. You've got to be prepared to engage, and people will gravitate. And when people see others are gravitating, then you have this multitude of gravitation, and that's where success comes in.
So we're hearing, am I right in saying that on this first stage, this first platform, the idea is to start, if you like, fitting in the puzzles. So you're hoping to get the groups, get the business people together.
No, we've already got them.
From that conference, what have you, then what would you have a plan of action, and then you move it on to part two?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
well, you want to know what the wider plan is. Well, the plan is a series of conferences. You've got to understand that each country in Africa is different. Gone are the days when everyone used to think that Africa was a country. Not at all. You've got different countries with different social issues, with different difficult issues. So that's why there've got to be different conferences with different themes that will support those needs for those countries.
So the theme is going to have different themes depending on the location and their need, if you like.
But what you wouldn't escape from is the fact that digital marketing and business philosophy would always be part of whatever the new themes are, because you can't get away from that. It's just how commerce works.
Well, I'm really very excited, as I said, especially knowing that he has been blessed to have the anointment to say Africa. We tend to sometimes, when we're this part of the world, we become very successful. Sometimes we want to return back, we want to do, but we never quite get round to doing it. But I'm excited in the sense that here's a man who has said, I've achieved, and I know I need to go back to the foundation to galvanize people. And I'm just in awe of it at the moment. And
Absolutely.
I know our viewers must be sort of very excited by hearing about it, because I know that this is a start for us, because we need to get on a map. As you think about China, you think about India, Asia, they are moving in this. And yet still we have the minds there, but because we've been able to come together, it's never quite happened. So there is an energy around.
There is, and it also shows that Africans can put aside their selfish differences, they can put aside their egos towards the common good, and that's why I'm part of this, because I could see that clearly there's a huge opportunity to do something really credible. For a start, this conference is a historic one of its size, its location, and the timing, and very much about what it's trying to do, not to mention the amount of speakers that we've been able to attract. So that's history there. The next set of history levels will be about how the level of change that we see on the ground as a result of these conferences. And that would only transpire from the businesses that engage with these speakers and the knowledge transfer that comes as a result of it, and very much how Africa develops. So I think in terms of measuring the success from a micro level, you're not going to be able to see it in the short term. It's a medium-term success strategy.
Right. Well, we're talking about say around 18 months maybe, or 2
Look,
years.
I think you should start seeing those advancements within a year, because when, for example, when we do leave Kenya, of which Kenya's never seen before, but it's very much about bringing those businesses, business minds from around the world, to be able to engage with those existing businesses in Kenya to start with, and the rest of the other businesses in Africa who are prepared to make the trip to there, and very much those businesses around the world who want to engage with Africa. So you can see the synergy of multitude of business environments all happening under one environment. The next thing is, how does that trickle down? And it's very much about those who engage with it and how much they take away from it and take back to the respective businesses to be able to develop.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot here. When it is over, you need to come back and keep us posted as to how you guys are progressing, because I know for our viewers it's very exciting hearing about this. Knowing for a start that African people are capable of coming together and doing the right thing, not with the egos and not on a business level. I mean, I always felt that this is something we do naturally, but not very aware of it. So I want you to come back, keep us posted what's going on. Congrats, wishing it's going to be a success. In fact, I feel and sense that it will be a success. The concept is fantastic and it is so well needed. Give a final word and appeal to our viewers, those who might want to come along. Give us your website details.
Yes, it's www.afri-tech.
And then the last Saturday of every month, we're going to have a wonderful DJ corner.
Hey, make sure you catch me, DJ Melody, right here, the magazine show. The last Saturday of every month at the DJ's Corner, featuring every possible DJ you have ever heard.
Yes, and loads of fantastic prizes to be given away all the time.
So every Saturday's a party, make sure you join us.
Yeah, exclusive magazine show.
We are the clients that you see in the movie, they are there. Let me be very foreign.
Nigeria could really
Talk Time, the social, political and cultural news show that puts your issues first.
Talk Time will be talking to those in the know and taking to the streets to delve into the achievements, trials and tribulations affecting the youth of today.
So why don't you come on a journey with us and change our people's lives?
Talk Time.
Hello there, wherever you are, another time for ABC Sports. But remember, it's not yet time until it is Saturday, 11 a.m. So much to talk about. We don't know the Champions League is back with all these razzmatazz. The Nigerian Premier League, the Ghana League, all these superstars are going to show how good they are. Come on, let's discuss the national teams of African football. Let's see how good this can be. Only one channel, only one sports program. ABC Sports, Sky 184, 11 a.m. Saturdays. Please don't miss it.
Every day for Niger, as day they break, even before Kokoro. Plenty people don't wake up to begin work here for Nigeria. Farmers, them there, builders, them there, market people on call, we there, teachers, we there. Some they work for office, others na factory, sports people on call. Them on na for stadium. Some people on na to sing, everybody getting on. Niger people know they lazy. Them not tired, them no give up. Come rain, come shine. Country people na them go make country better. Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Supported by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
out to the sunny part of Kenya getting ourselves prepared.